Morning students, today we are going to see our second part of no formalities please. In last video we saw no formalities please part 1, uh, in which a teacher, Mrs. Desai, taught her students how to write a formal letter to their principal in their actual situation, in which they have to write a letter to their principal, and the subject of that letter was to give permission and give permission to provide issue facility to students of standard 4th class 4th. In the second part we will see what is the principal does and what was her reply to the students. Know the formalities please. Part 2. Mrs. Desai met the principal soon after class. She told her about the excitement that followed the announcement of new books in the library. So the class 4 students were all were excited, but one student placed his problem in front of everyone, that there is only one period in the whole week, and that too is of half an hour, and we can't complete our reading in that half an hour. Okay, so Mrs. Desai thought that we should provide issue facility, home issue facility, to the class 4 students, and for this principal will allow us, and you have to write at your own a formal letter to the principal. And Mrs. Desai took the letter to the principal after the period and told the whole situation, that is the excitement after the announcement of new books in the library. They just cannot wait to read all those lovely books. She beamed. The principal was also delighted and praised her. Means principal was also happy because of interest level of the students of class 4, and she praised her. The credit goes to you, Mrs. Desai. You have created and assured their interest in reading books. It is going to help them a great deal in future. It means that Mrs. Desai, principal said to Mrs. Desai that she has increased the interest of reading in those students, and that's why they have written this letter. Means आपकी वजह से ही उनका बुक रीडिंग में इंटरेस्ट बढ़ा है, और ये उनके फ्यूचर में बहुत काम आएगा. सारा क्रेडिट आपको ही जाता है इसका. Yes, madam, said Mrs. Desai, but they find the weekly library period too short a time to read. मीन्स उन लोगों के लिए जो वीकली, एक वीक में एक बार जो लाइब्रेरी पीरियड आता है जिसमें बुक्स रीडिंग करने जाते हैं वो लोग, एंड दैट टाइम इज़ वेरी शॉर्ट फॉर देम. So my students are going to appeal you to allow home issue books. Means they are going to appeal you to allow home issue of books. They have written you a letter of request, and they have written a letter of request that please provide us a home issue facility. A letter? Why? Asked the principal in surprise. Means principal asked in surprise. They can they can send their message through Mrs. Desai also. Why the letter? She asked to the to Mrs. Desai. I had to teach the class now how to write a polite formal letter, and I took this opportunity to make them actually write a formal letter, explained Mrs. Desai. And Mrs. Desai now explained the whole situation, that in that period I have to teach them how to write a polite formal letter, and that's why they have written in the actual situation. They took the actual situation and they have written the a letter to them. Excellent, Mrs. Desai. Explain, ex- explain the principal. Means here, principal was very happy to hear this. Means they have not directly they have not directly demanding any, and they are writing a formal letter, and that too in just one period. They have learned how to write in that period only. They have written in the actual situation. Okay, मीन्स उन लोगों ने उसी पीरियड में वो लेटर राइटिंग सीखा और उसी पीरियड में एक्चुअल सिचुएशन के लिए अपने प्रिंसिपल को लेटर लिखा. ये सुन के प्रिंसिपल बहुत खुश हो गई. एंड देन and I shall not dampen their interest in reading. I shall certainly allow them to take books home reading. And principal was ready to allow them. Okay. The next morning, the principal found a letter on her desk. The next morning, principal found a letter on her desk. She signed the letter with the remark permission, with the remark permission granted. Okay, this was the letter. Okay, uh, no, that no, the yesterday I have sent you a picture along with that video, and that was a letter written by the class 4 students to their principal, and in that letter they in that letter they have written that we need home issue facility. So the principal got that letter on the next day on her desk, and she signed by permission granted writing on that letter and sent to the librarian to encourage the children of the class 4th. Further, the principal instructed the librarian to give a written reply to the students, and hear what he wrote. And librarian too wrote a letter to the class 4th students, as you can see in this picture. Principal said to the librarian to write a letter and give a reply to students, because students will encourage this and their interest in the writing and reading will be increased. Okay, so library Pragati Vidyalay Vachanpur, 7 June 2014. So this is a letter from the librarian to the students of class 4th. To students of class 4th. Dear children, I am delighted to know that you are so keen on reading the new books in our school library. The principal has been kind enough to grant you your class permission of for home issue facility. I shall keep the library open for an hour after school on call on all weekdays. You can come and collect any one book of your choice and return it with the following week. But I must urge you to read the and observe the library rules displayed in the library. So this was the letter in which the instructions are given cleanly, and it is highlighted clean. Okay, so principal have allowed them, it is written over there. And the librarian is going to open the library after the school hours for an hour, and for all the weekdays. And in that 1 hour you can come issue your book, or you can else return the book. Okay, next, do come and enjoy reading the books. At last, sincerely yours, Mr. Vijay Patil, the librarian. Okay, now, hey, great news, cried the monitor. Look, we have received a letter from the librarian, and guess what? वी कैन टेक स्टोरी बुक्स होम टू रीड. अब मॉनिटर के पास जब लेटर पहुंचा, मॉनिटर ज़ोर से चिल्लाया कि ग्रेट न्यूज़, अब हम बुक्स हमारे घर पे ले जा सकते हैं और रीडिंग कर सकते हैं. लाइब्रेरियन के तरफ से हमको एक लेटर आया है. वाओ, एक्सक्लेम्ड श्रुति विथ ब्राइट अराउंड आइज. अब श्रुति भी बहुत एक्साइटेड हो चुकी थी, उसकी आंखें बड़ी हो गई थी, और शी सेड वाओ, गुड बाय बोर्डम, वेलकम happy hours, shouted Akshay. Now Akshay shouted, goodbye bad days, goodbye boredom, वेलकम हैप्पी आवर्स. मीन्स अब बोर्डम को बाय बाय कहो, अब हैप्पी आवर्स का टाइम आया, क्योंकि हमको न्यू न्यू स्टोरी बुक्स, न्यू न्यू पजल्स बुक्स, जोक बुक्स पढ़ने मिलेंगी. The letter from the librarian was put up on the class notice board for all to read. When Mrs. Desai walked into the classroom, the students of class 4 burst out into many exclamations of thanks. जब ये लाइब्रेरियन का लेटर्स क्लास की नोटिस बोर्ड पे लगाया गया था. जब मिसेस देसाई क्लासरूम में एंटर करती हैं तो सारे बच्चे बहुत खुश थे और वो थैंक्स थैंक्स के एक्सप्रेशंस दे रहे थे मिसेस देसाई को. शैल वी राइट अ लेटर ऑफ थैंक्स टू द लाइब्रेरियन सजेस्टेड मनुजा. अब मनुजा ने, जो एक स्टूडेंट थी, उसने सजेस्ट किया कि हमें लाइब्रेरियन को एक थैंक यू लेटर लिखना चाहिए. दैट्स एन एक्सीलेंट आइडिया, सेड मिसेस देसाई, smiling to herself at this new interest in formal letter writing. Okay. Now Mrs. Desai, that the teacher is also happy. This is the letter of thanks the children wrote to the librarian. Class 4th, Pragati Vidyalay, Vachanpur, 8 July 2014. To the librarian of Pragati Vidyalay, Vachanpur. Subject: an expression of thanks. Okay. Dear sir, thank you ever so much for kindly making home reading facility available to us. We are really grateful that you are going to wait back 1 hour after school just for us. We can now read books of our choice at a stretch. Thank you very much for your encouragement. We promise to abide by the library rules and handle the books with great care. Many thanks once again. Yours faithfully, students of class 4. मीन्स इस लेटर में वो अपना जो काम आपने करके दिया वो पहले मेंशन किया उन्होंने फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में, और लास्ट लाइन में उनको थैंक यू कहा. पहले भी थैंक यू कहा, लास्ट भी. मीन्स इन दिस होल लेटर 3 times दे हैव रिटन थैंक यू. ओके. मीन्स थैंक यू लेटर में थैंक यू ये वर्ड्स जितने बार भी आए उतनी बार कम है. ओके. तो दिस वॉज द लेटर and this was the chapter Know the Formalities Please part 2, and I am going to send you a picture along with this video and you have to write the question answers into your notebook.